I am appalled. If you actually want to create creepy stuff, you can certainly do that. But I would never want to integrate this technology into my works. I strongly feel that this is an insult to life itself. These were the words of Miyazaki when he was shown an AI generated art in his workshop or somewhere in his office. I think Miyazaki is nothing or no one but an old man who is very insecure. Hello and welcome back to our channel, 3 dots and hash.
More like 3 dots and lass.
What is that?
And a lass. Lass is for word used for a woman.
Ah,
अच्छा तुम अपना इंग्लिश का होल्ड दिखा रहे हो
क्या दिखा
ठीक
रहा
है
हूँ? Hold.
Hold. Okay. 3 dots and hash. So we are the 3 dots. Piyush, Raman, and myself. And the hash of the day is the Ghibli controversy. We are going to delve into this raging debate that's been going on of art versus AI. And who better to discuss this with us than an artist herself? So we are pleased to welcome the first ever guest on our podcast, Pari. Say hi to Pari.
hey,
Hi.
Hi, hello.
welcome to 3 dots and hash.
Thank you so much, guys.
Welcome.
Okay. So what is this whole Ghibli controversy about? Okay, let me give the context of it.
Is it Ghibli or Ghibli?
I don't know how you pronounce
I
it.
think it's Ghibli.
Anyways, I think Ghibli, yeah, Jumla mat bolna, but Ghibli, okay. So, see, for people who don't know, okay, so Studio Ghibli is a world-renowned Japanese animation studio known for its beautifully crafted, hand-drawn films that blend fantasy, emotion, and deep, satisfying storytelling. It has given us a lot of great movies, okay, like My Neighbor Totoro, Spirited Away, and Princess Mononoke. It's difficult to spell these Japanese words.
No wonder you can't pronounce Ghibli right.
Anyways, okay, this is a serious podcast. Okay, so Mr. Miyazaki, not Miyakazi, Mr. Miyazaki, often considered one of the greatest animators in history, is
There's
known.
another co-founder, no? Takahata or something.
So we're neglecting him. So we're neglecting him. Okay, because
Miyazaki.
Miyazaki is the person people are talking about. So we are ignoring the other people. Okay.
And there's a producer also who was also
Producer, director,
Suzuki.
Suzuki. There is a guy called Toshio Suzuki. I've written it down, not used his name. That's me. I omit things on my own. Okay. So people have been loving Ghibli style photographs or movies for years now. Okay. So it completely appealed to everybody who was looking at these pictures. Okay. The demand for this AI generated art style caused such a surge in users that Sam Altman actually had to come out and tell people to slow down because their servers were getting burned up or something
GPUs.
like that. So basically what we're trying to discuss out here is that this controversy that happened of art versus AI, various aspects of it, right? The ethical aspects, the emotional aspects of it, the security aspect. We discuss all of this in the podcast today. Okay, so that's where we start. So in the beginning, I think we should begin with Pari herself. That what is her take on this whole thing about this being ethical or not? So our first, I would say, the subtopic is the ethical nature of what is happening right now. Pari, what's your take on that?
Oh yeah, first of all, how many of you did you upload a Ghibli picture on your Instagram?
I did. Piyush is not on Insta.
I haven't.
And
Okay.
Well,
All right. So even I saw the trailer and brands and everyone were just jumping onto even celebrities and even everywhere it was like
Even the
loud.
government of India.
Yeah, even Modi ji probably had a right. So what I see from using AI, generating images, art basically, art inspired images in like seconds and like flourishing up. But again, all I want to ask is what is the intent? Like, what's the purpose? Like,
What we're trying to understand is that is it, let's say you you do art, right? You paint and you make candles and stuff. So let's say, and that takes a lot of hard work and mehnat,
It's a
right?
journey, like, it's a process. Like when you have all your raw materials and then you want to create something, you go through a process. Like it's a human experience that probably would be missing from an AI generated art
Yeah, so I would say that is a big part of calling something art. So art is not just the end product,
product. Yeah,
not just the
it is
creation,
the
but the
experience.
process
Yeah,
of
yeah.
process of creating something, right? So that is as much art as the end product. So the process can be there, of course, with AI, but as Pari was mentioning, कि वो जो human experience है, that is extremely important, right?
See, first of all, I think it's very ironical because when Miyazaki and the other founders conceptualized Studio Ghibli, they didn't want to take help of any technology whatsoever, and they wanted it to be completely, handmade. The frames were handmade. So, using technology to create a Ghibli form of an image in itself is so ironical that it looks like that what the entire theme or entire concept behind the studio or the company is now being contradicted. So ethical, yes, no, I mean there can be a debate, but it is definitely ironical. Secondly, I mean, I'm not the right person to comment on this, but I just couldn't understand what's the craze about because I guess in the previous few years also there have been a lot of apps and there was one app I guess a couple of years back which could pixelate or which could like modify your image to an anime version or something of that sort. So I really couldn't understand what's the buzz about, but having said that, people latch on to anything and everything that gets launched these days. So coming back to Baba, your question, whether it's ethical or not. So see, like what these guys pointed out, that the amount of effort that Miyazaki and Mr. Takahata, if I'm getting it right, put into making frames after frame for depicting, say, an animal or a human or say the scenery is now completely computerized. With just few prompts or just uploading your pictures, you get a Ghiblified version of the picture. So I don't think so. And most important point is it is not being it's not been approved by the creators, so it is definitely not ethical because a lot of the images which are being rendered, the input that has gone into creating the rendered versions would be the original movies and the content that has been created by Studio Ghibli. So
Yeah.
I don't think so it is ethical.
Yeah, I think but ethical पे हम लोग शायद we are jumping the gun maybe. मेरे को I agree to you for most of the part when you're speaking about how it was founded and whatever is the the core principles behind it. I get all of that. But मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि let's forget for a second कि chat GPT नहीं किया. Let's say Pari starts making crazy good Ghiblified images, starts painting them in no time. So whatever the hard work has gone behind it is hers, right? Would you still call it? Would it still be unethical?
See, you have to understand, Studio Ghibli is part of the anime world, right? Most of the
यहाँ पे जो
animes,
उसकी जर्नी है ना, मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि उसका किसी का भी फाइटिंग पॉइंट यहाँ पे ये नहीं हो सकता. I used to take 2 years to create this. Now it is getting created in 1 minute. This is wrong. That's your choice to create your art in that way because that's how you probably like creating it. That's your process. If somebody can use some other technology and create it faster, I think that cannot be really stopped, is my view.
Yeah, I think you're right. In the right as per me, in the sense there are two things, right? In the एक तो ये है कि let's say any good music that comes out, there is a cover album that comes out after some days. Okay, now again it's inspired. The word is inspiration, right? You get inspired. All of the Ghibli art that you see the internet today are inspired by the Studio Ghibli, right? None of them are exact replicas.
How are the cultures, how are literatures and arts from a culture so similar? Would you call them copying? Would you stop them from breeding and getting inspiration, taking inspirations and spreading it further?
Yeah.
That's how the cultures are born,
So
right?
that's inspiration, I think. Again, of course, there is no, there are ethical questions. I think ethical questions would more be on the lines of whether the LLM was being, the machine learning algorithm was being fed uncopy or copyrighted material.
Absolutely.
That's a question.
There is no doubt about it.
Now, then the question is that, let's say if you put yourself out, let's say Ghibli art is there for everyone to see, right? It's a movie, it's a sketches, all those things are there, right? From a copyright perspective, right? You cannot replicate it, right? But if you are using the copyrighted material to train somebody, okay, and that somebody, machine or human being, is getting inspired by this and creating something new, then the lines blur on copyright also. Another thing is that here we are looking at a machine churning out images, right? Now, the millions or the hundreds of coders who have worked over the last 10, 20 years to bring AI to this situation today, where AI can do this, we can consider them as artists,
Yeah.
right? So there,
How do you define art? What is art for you?
मेरे लिए तो आर्ट यही है कि कुछ मतलब तुम अपने दिमाग से मे बी एग्जिस्टेड चीज को तो मॉडिफाई कर रहे हो to beautify it, beautify according to you, right? It might not be beautification for the whole world. You are adding something to an existing thing or creating something from scratch. दोनों art.
So it's a way of expression, right? Whatever you do, it can be inspirational, but however it is you are expressing, it's an expression, art.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. So इसमें एक ना Tolstoy का I was reading how what he has talked about art. So what he said was basically that art is a transfer of emotions from one person to the other.
Yes.
So that
Through a medium.
yeah. So would you even call whatever ChatGPT is creating art? Is there any transfer for emotions from one person to the other person there?
No,
Is that happening?
see, now what I was thinking now while I was thinking about this podcast, what topic? One thing that struck me now is today the halla chilla that is happening, okay, is sort of happening because we know the Ghibli arts are machine generated. Okay, let's say these were not machine generated. Let's say we
वही
did
मैं
not
वो
know.
exactly वही बोल रहा था
Let's
ना कि
say-
परी बनाने लगे अगर
So let's say
But-
we
yeah.
don't know what is generated by machine. Let's say let's say the AI engine works like that. We give your pictures. We will take 10 minutes or 15 minutes. There are some very sophisticated artists who are sitting in our headquarters. वो लेगा पिक्चर 15 मिनट में बना के दे देगा.
See, that's not art. So, for example, if you
Why
go
is
to a
that
mall,
not art?
I'll tell you, if you go to a mall, you would see there are a lot of people who would probably give you a
Your caricature or whatever.
caricature or,
you
so,
call that art?
no, I'm not saying that's not called art. That's a copied version of the art. It's not original. For
It's
example,
originally है ना.
It's inspirational.
it's inspirational. Okay, I mean, better word for it. But what I'm trying to say is that the effort that the creator is putting. So, for example, say you create a song or Raman's written a book. Now, I blatantly copy the book. I change few things here and there. And I present the book and my book starts selling more.
But that is not the case यार. अगर तू बोले तूने मेरा बुक उठाया तेरे को उसका स्टाइल अच्छा लगा तूने उस स्टाइल में एक और कहानी बोली तो that is not a problem, right?
That's what they
आज
right?
भी GPT को तू बोल सकता है कि write a passage in Murakami's voice.
Correct. See, the broader thing that we are discussing here is not just Ghibli, is what I had asked this time.
Yeah, we will
Yeah.
I
discuss
mean,
that.
for example, you can create a song in
versus
Taylor Swift's voice, right? So, for example, you can ask ChatGPT to create a song in Taylor Swift's voice, and it might create a song which is, say, better than the existing songs of Taylor Swift. Now, would you call that art? I wouldn't.
I will.
I wouldn't.
I will.
Right? I mean, that's for me. It's
But then I will tell you, let's say somebody creates a video or an audio, right? And uploads on the internet. And वो बोल देता है कि मेरे बहन ने गाया है. I'm just saying for argument's
तो
sake.
बाबा सुन लेते हैं.
हाँ? मतलब लड़की ने गाया तो मैं सुन लूंगा. Anyways, let's not get into the male-female debate. लेकिन
लड़के ने कहा तो भी सुन लोगे आप.
तो let's say he says that my अच्छा वाइफ है जो भी है जिसने या तो उसके ब्रदर ने चलो लड़का चलेगा टेलर स्विफ्ट
आपको तो सब चलेगा ना.
नहीं चलेगा. I am very straight.
नहीं ऐसा भी सोना चाहिए सब.
ऐसे भी लड़के भी ऐसे मतलब anyways we will get into that later. No, मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ तुमको अगर पता नहीं
He wants to get into that also.
Later.
later if you know it is not created by machine वो बोल देता है कि beautiful song rendered just like Taylor Swift by my sister from Meghalaya. तो क्या हो गया
तो मेघालय वाले सिस्टर्स है असम वाले नहीं.
संभल नहीं ना sister.
And will replicate the Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift. तो then you will possibly start क्या गाया है बंदी ने.
It's still a cover, right? Like she said, it's inspiration.
So you think all the covers are not art?
No, I'm saying it's an art, but it's still an inspiration.
It's
Inspired.
Inspired art.
So, but what you're saying is that कि मेरा मानना क्या है ना, if you know it is from a human, we sort of want to associate it with art. The moment we know it's a non-human,
Because we know that art is an expression. An expression or an emotion that is getting transferred, right? Majorly. तो वो आप कहाँ से लाओगे when a machine is creating something, unless the artist is the person behind this machine who is creating it.
we had done a podcast, right, on I think key choices, right, that it's about you, what you feel. It's not about what choices are available, how much you want to take, right, from those choices, right. यहाँ पे मैं क्या बोलूँगा ना, when Ghibli studio, when the movies they make, all the pictures that come out, right, original ones, not the ChatGPT generated one, उसमें भी what emotion that the artist is trying to convey वो एक कहानी है. Finally you get attached to the emotion that तुम्हारे अंदर जो उत्पन्न होता है looking at that, right? So what I'm trying to say, you might in your book you might be trying to convey an emotion,
Correct.
but the reader might be getting a completely different emotion.
Yeah.
Okay. So आज के तारीख में I was reading to a blog. A person has been in love with Ghibli from his childhood. Okay. Now he took a photo of him and his cat and put it to ChatGPT, and it threw a very nice image of him with the cat. Right. Now he has described the next, I think, at least 5,000 words just to share how happy he is. कि बचपन से मुझे मन था कि ऐसा वाला मेरे पिक्चर आए, ऐसे aesthetics आए. So he has connected with the emotion. So what I'm saying, one is we are saying that art is when the emotion that an artist is trying to convey, that gets conveyed. What I am trying to say is that once you have an image or a song or a movie in front of you, what emotion that it evokes on the reader,
Correct. How it is
itself
getting
is justified.
how it is getting consumed, you cannot control as an artist.
Huh. So that itself is art, right? If I am feeling nice by looking, see, people are finding it nice by looking at Ghibli
Yeah.
images.
Okay, let me put it another way. So there are two aspects, right? One is from a creator's point of view, and one is from the user point of view, right?
Consumer's point of
A user or a consumer might not care. For example, when Honey Singh remade that song "Dheere Dheere Se Meri Zindagi Mein Aana," it became a hit. But that doesn't mean the original song wasn't a hit. It was because the original song was great, and then he remixed it and right. So from a creator point of view, I don't know how Nadeem Shravan would have felt when that song was recreated without giving them any credit whatsoever. When Honey
But
Singh-
it is not the
Hear me out, hear
same
me out.
movie or art getting recreated.
Hear
It
me
is a
out.
new art.
Now
If you
I'll
got
ask you another question, Baba. You love photography, right? I've seen you clicking photos and posting it online, right? So say you've taken a very beautiful picture through your camera. Vis-a-vis, you give a prompt to ChatGPT to create an exact replica. As a creator, what would make you happy? The one that you clicked by yourself, like it's
Absolutely.
right. So you get when I'm coming
That
to.
point is that what I am trying to contest is, let's say,
From an observer point of view, I might not care कि वो चैट जीपीटी से है या आपने खींचा है, ठीक है, मेरे को तो क्या फर्क
तो
पड़ता है.
पर्पस ऑफ आर्ट मुझे लगता है कि बहुत जरूरी है ये भी जानना कि एक आर्ट का पर्पस क्या है. सो अगर पर्पस तो ये है कि यू वांट एन एक्सप्रेशन, सो ऑफ कोर्स एआई कैन नॉट गेट यू दैट, राइट. तो वो डिबेट ही नहीं आता है कि एथिकल है कि नहीं है, क्योंकि तुम उसे आर्ट ही नहीं बोल रहे हो. चीप इमिटेशन तो हर जगह बिकता है यार, हर चीज का. मूवी पोस्टर्स का तो कब से बिक रहा है.
on the ethical bit, I think we can more or less sort of conclude that it is maybe from an artist's point of view, art of this form might still have points where they can say that this is not ethical. But from a consumer's point of view, if they're connecting with that art, be it what you call inspired or whatever, if they are feeling emotions, if their childhood memories are coming back, whatever, if they're feeling nice about it, I think from the consumer's point of view, it is art. From a creator's point of view, he or she might consider it not being ethical or not an art itself.
कंज्यूमर कैन ऑल्सो डिसाइड दैट.
Consumer can also decide. See,
सब सब्जेक्टिव ही है.
subjective here. And I think the response that ChatGPT or this has got, I think everybody is taking it in a fun way, in a humorous way, in a nice way, right? So for all the people who are posting the pictures, it is art for them.
See, why this got so much popularity is also because of the fact that Studio Ghibli was famous for creating art which was handmade, mostly, right? Like regular anime pictures, you could still create
No,
with the help of any
I
software.
want to cut you there. Of course, I'll let you speak after this. I had no idea of who Studio Ghibli is, or even Mr. Miyazaki. I did not know them, to be very honest. The moment I saw these pictures coming up in the internet, I was liking those pictures. Okay, so the background of somebody having put in years of hard work to create that was never in my mind. It is just the visual that I was seeing in front of me. I was liking that visual.
But your lack of awareness doesn't take away the credit that Miyazaki or efforts that Miyazaki and Mr. Takahata had put in creating the
It
studio.
is not taking it away.
Right.
What I'm saying is that it is art for me. It is not unethical art for me. It is unethical art for the
It
creator.
is evoking certain emotions in Baba.
I get it. But my point is that it should be first from a creator's point of view, the person who's created it. Now, see, he was earlier pointing out that, Madhubani. So, Madhubani is an art form, right? You can create art form or style, as you may
Ghibli
call
was
it.
an art form,
Exactly.
right?
But why is it unique? Like I'm saying, that all the animations or anime movies or manga or, whatever is being created right now, it's with the aid of like machines, computers. But Studio Ghibli was a niche in itself because most of the work that they created or they made was handmade. And the creator, Mr. Miyazaki and Takahata, made it a point that for the longest of time, they wanted to keep it that way. Now, so if you go and search for his interviews, whenever they've asked, that we want to bring in the use of machines to create the same form of art, he has outright, like you already read, right? He has outright rejected it. So I guess
That is his insecurity.
see, it's his point of view. It's his art form, right?
Probably as a creator.
As a creator, it's his right to say.
No, not
No,
his
not
right.
really.
See, anybody who has a pen pencil can create.
We're not talking about humans. Ab jaise, for example,
I'm talking about insecurity. Insecurity could be with machines or could be with humans. It is about Miyazaki's insecurity that one day this will do better art than me, so I should condemn it. Nipping the evil in the bud, जो बोलते हैं ना.
No, I don't agree with that point. Baba.
Okay, whatever.
You're free to have a.
Yeah. So
Oh,
I feel that he's just been. देखो, एक तो ये है कि he loves what he does. ठीक है.
मेरा ऐसा मानना है कि अगर जैसे तूने बोला there are so many other production houses as well, right, who are doing similar sort of art, but the point here is the amount of effort that this production house takes in by using as less machines or technology as possible, right? So वो उनका choice है,
correct.
right? That is the art that they are creating. They are not saying we are going to look different. They're saying we are going to do it handmade because that is our philosophy. That's how we create art. So whatever the machine is creating in the first place, they would not consider it Ghibli style at all. But Ghibli style is not the end product, right? Ghibli style, we are talking about the amount of effort that goes into creating it, right? Or the process in which it is created.
Correct.
So इसमें क्या, why would they mind it?
Feel in a way it is a man versus machine debate and nothing else.
Yeah.
It's about if, let's say, this was being created by a handful of people in a short period of time,
Or
nobody
for
would
a
have,
smaller audience.
or for a smaller audience, nobody would have said anything. They would have said inspired art. तो तारीफ करते हैं उनका कि मियाज़ाकी को दो साल लगता है, ये तो 2 घंटे में बना रहा है, लोग उसका तारीफ कर देते हैं. It is because people know it is being created by a machine. See, this has always been the case.
Yeah.
Machines will one day take prominence above us. Machines will take our jobs. It is always we all use machines, and machines are helped us in a way.
But you're forgetting there are people who are behind the creation of these machines. So, for example, Sam Altman. If tomorrow, say, ChatGPT gains 100 million subscribers because I think only paid subscribers can have unlimited photos, right?
But other AI
Free.
platforms are allowing.
I'm just saying. So, say if it results into gaining more subscribers, who's at the end of the day getting more money out of this copied art form?
ये जो कर रहे हैं, वो सही कर रहे हैं कि नहीं कर रहे हैं? That's what we're trying to say, right? कि there is a person or a group of people who spend hours, days, months, years to create something. Now there is another machine who can just capture these pictures and create an equivalent picture in a matter of seconds. That is the problem humanity is having.
I'll give another example. Spotify, when Spotify started their business, it faced major backlash from two set of audience, or rather two stakeholders. One was, of course, the owners who are these studios, like say your Universal Studios and all of those. And secondly was from the artists. Because the artist said, इसमें तो कुछ कॉपी वॉपी कुछ नहीं हो रहा था. इसमें ये था कि Spotify पे आप स्ट्रीम करोगे उनका गाना और मतलब वहां से हमारे लिए फॉर कंज्यूमर इट्स अ विन विन. क्योंकि पहले आपको एक कैसेट खरीदना पड़ता था या सीडी खरीदना पड़ता था या जो भी, अभी आप स्ट्रीम करो एट अ नॉमिनल सब्सक्रिप्शन फी. तो फॉर अ कंज्यूमर पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू इट्स अ विन विन. बट फ्रॉम एन आर्टिस्ट पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू दैट इज व्हाई आई सेड कि मतलब आपको हर एक पॉइंट को अलग अलग पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से देखना पड़ेगा.
We said, right, कि from an artist point of view, if this something like this could or could not be ethical also, we need to there's a discussion. From a consumer's point of view, I don't think we can consider this
आपने
as
तो इनसिक्योर
unethical.
बना दिया उसको मियाजाकी.
मियाजाकी तो इनसिक्योर है. मियाजाकी तो इनसिक्योर, उसको दिख गया था कि ये मुझे ओवरटेक कर
Miyazaki
लेगा.
is just emotional right now.
खुद अपना पिक्चर डाल के घिबली बना रहा है वो. उसको तो लग जाएगा एक
But
साल.
also, it's accessible to people, right? I mean, like how first painting got printed and it got accessible to people as photos or whatever. I mean, that's another way of seeing is like people have access to at least Miyazaki's version of your own.
Yeah, that's what I feel like that person with the cat, right? He always wanted a picture of the cat with him. Another thing is I think what she was trying to allude is democratization of art. Okay.
Yeah.
When in the previous times, that's why if you look at the history, Gutenberg press is said to be one of the major turning points in literature history, right? That's when mass production of books started. Okay. Till then, books were confined to elite people, right? Who can have handwritten books and all. Once Gutenberg press started, democratization of books came, right? Similarly, if you take in art form also, you might have heard the name of, I think, Ravi Verma,
Yeah.
the painter, right?
Yeah.
Indian painter, Raja Ravi Verma. Raja Ravi Verma, he used to paint, right? He's a painter. What he did, he opened a studio or a printing press in Bombay, if I'm not wrong, okay? And he started making smaller prints of his art and giving it to people so that more people get access to what good art should look like. So I think in a way, this has, for me, I never knew about Ghibli. I never knew about Miyazaki. Okay. Now I have been introduced to Ghibli art, and I'm liking what I'm seeing. Chori hai, copy hai, 20% copy hai, 80% copy hai. Those we can discuss. For me as a consumer, जिसको पता ही नहीं था, and I'm without any.
मैं कह रहा हूँ
data-
ऐसे भी कुछ consumers होंगे जिन्होंने ये देखा and curious way to know more and would start like I had not watched any Miyazaki-san's
A lot of people now
movie.
will. I have not watched.
Yeah, same. So what do you call it? So would Ghibli Studios say no? We do not want this consumers. Like there is a security this thing. You cannot
No,
go in.
of course
You cannot watch it.
You have to look at it from two perspectives. One is
तो
consumer's
देखिए
point of
ना,
view and one is creator's point of view.
वो मान लीजिए, but what I'm saying is from a consumer's point of view, this is art.
मैं कह रहा हूँ क्रिएटर भी अगर तुम्हारा कोई कॉपीराइट का इशू नहीं है तो यू कैन नॉट स्टॉप योर आर्ट फ्रॉम taking a turn and spiraling in a society the way you had not anticipated or expected or wanted.
Let's take a very relevant example.
Yeah.
You know, वो काचा बादाम
काचा
song वाला,
बादाम,
right?
गाना.
That the guy used to sell like वो ऐसे ही रोड पे साइकिल लेके बादाम बेचता था और गाना गाता था. उसका गाना बना, YouTube पे आउट हुआ. आप जाके देखो वो अभी तक रो रहा है उसको क्योंकि कुछ पैसे नहीं मिले. ठीक है.
But that
हमको बड़ा
doesn't
मजा
mean-
आया.
हाँ.
हमने काचा बादाम पे सबने ऐसे हमने तो वीडियो भी देखे वहाँ पे ठुमके लगा रही है, राइट? तो वी एंजॉयड.
मैंने ठुमका नहीं लगाया, but हाँ.
आपने
हाँ,
आप लगा
वो
लो.
तो ब्रो एक तरीके से बहती गंगा में हाथ धोने वाली बात है.
But
That
I'm saying
person never
the creator suffered, right? Raman?
Suffered creator is
was that even a creation till the time somebody picked it up and had the eye and the ear to know that it can
The
become
guy has
something.
still sung the song.
You should give them some credit. I agree, but आप इसे पूरी तरीके से गलत नहीं बोल सकते ब्रो. अगर तो एक चीज होती है कुछ यहाँ पे कोई मजदूर काम करता है ईंट की आवाज आती है ईंट की आवाज तो रोज आती है. If I record it and make music out of it.
तो ईंट की आवाज और किसी ने गाना there's a
कि
difference
कोई
between it.
निकाल रहा है ना ईंट की आवाज कोई ठोक रहा है वो बोले हैमर तो मेरा था चिजल तो मेरी थी.
in this context, in this controversy, the artists are feeling cheated, is what you're trying to say, right? But that itself doesn't make something. So it's like the messenger, right? हम लोग जो बोलते हैं, right? अभी कुणाल कामरा का शो आया, right? People are all the comedians, right? We are always trying to kill the messenger. We are not focusing on the message. अगर कुणाल कामरा जो बोल रहा है और समय रैना whoever comedian is giving a political satire, right? If nobody is focusing on whether what he's saying is right or wrong, we are focusing on कि कुणाल कामरा आदमी गलत है. So यहाँ पे भी क्या हो गया है? We are not focusing कि जो images आ रहा है beautiful है कि नहीं? Is it heartwarming है कि नहीं? Is it generating emotion है कि नहीं? हम बोलना चाह रहे हैं कि क्योंकि ये चैट जीपीटी ने बनाया है ये गलत है.
Okay, चलो next point क्या है?
ठीक है. So see the next point we are going to touch about is the whole data privacy angle. Maybe we don't want to spend too much time, but we touch on that. Okay, that people are uploading pictures. Okay, and these pictures will be used in what sense nobody knows, right? So the whole data privacy angle, right?
वो तो सिर्फ पिक्चर पे नहीं वो तो anything that you're doing with AI.
हाँ.
has
No,
got
anything that you are doing, see, finally-
For that matter, AI नहीं, आज के टाइम पे अगर आपके पास फोन है तो भी वो प्रॉब्लम है.
हाँ तो see, एक तो ये है कि तुम इंस्टाग्राम में जो डाल रहे हो, ओके,
तुम्हें पता नहीं है बाबा कैसी पिक्चर्स का जिबली कर रहे हैं.
मेरा तो जिबली बन ही नहीं
वो
रहा है।
इंस्टाग्राम पे आ ही नहीं रहा है.
तो
आ ही नहीं सकता.
मेरा तो फ्री वर्जन है, उसमें बनता ही नहीं है। अबे मैं दिखाऊंगा, मैंने एक्चुअली कोशिश किया कुछ अजनबी
बाबा का जो कंटेंट है वो डाल रहे हैं अपने onlybaba.com.
देसी बाबा भी मेरा ही वेबसाइट है। एनीवेज, तो what are your people's view on the whole thing of data privacy? Maybe we may not spend too much time, but
Do you still believe that you have your
As much as I would want to, I know it's a
Your
myth.
data is secure.
Yeah, it's nothing is secured in today's time.
So that's
It doesn't like you can't live in today's world thinking that you have privacy, because there's no such thing as privacy anymore.
No,
I mean, although as much as I would like to enjoy or want my privacy, I know I can't help it. If I
वो भगवान तो सब देख ही रहा है.
भगवान देख रहे, भगवान चैट जीपीटी नहीं है।
तो कोई तो देख ही रहा था पहले भी.
नहीं, इसमें वी कैन कंक्लूड वेरी क्विकली ऑन दिस कि एक तो है कि तुम इंस्टाग्राम में अपना पिक्चर ऐसे भी डालते हो, राइट? नाउ वेदर चैट जीपीटी इज यूजिंग दोस पिक्चर्स एंड ट्रेनिंग इट्स मॉडल्स, या अभी जब चैट जीपीटी को तुम अपना पिक्चर एक्चुअली डाल रहे हो, राइट, पुटिंग द फाइल आउट देयर, राइट, इज चैट जीपीटी नाउ यूजिंग योर पिक्चर्स एंड इट वाज नॉट यूजिंग प्रीवियसली?
See, this is inevitable. This is inevitable. Let's suppose कि इंस्टा भी नहीं कर रहा वैसे यूज. Let's suppose कुछ लोगों ने चैट जीपीटी पे डाली है और उनका वो यूज हो रहा है. इन नेक्स्ट फ्यू मंथ्स आपके पास चॉइस नहीं है, वो होगा ही होगा. इस सोर्स से नहीं होगा तो कहीं और से होगा. दैट इज गोइंग टू हैपन. दैट इज बाउंड टू हैपन.
ओके, तो डेटा प्राइवेसी वाला जो कंसर्न है इन दिस, मतलब वी कैन कंक्लूड दैट इट डजंट मैटर एट ऑल, इट्स नॉट अ
it matters, but we are helpless.
हाँ, तो इट इज मतलब इसके कारण data-
You can be puppets. Somebody can blackmail you in the worst ways possible.
हाँ, मतलब इसके कारण डेटा प्राइवेसी नहीं जा रहे तुम्हें, ऐसे भी जा रहे, इज व्हाट वी आर सेइंग, और नहीं भी जा रहा तो जाने ही वाला, तो इसके कारण ऑगमेंट हो गया डेटा प्राइवेसी, वो नहीं है, इज व्हाट वी आर कंक्लूडिंग।
Yeah.
Point that I wanted to touch upon is like on this topic is that from the creator's point of view, the copyright issues. Like if say as an artist, I do not want my art to be used as an input. I'm not talking about Ghibli here. I'm talking about any artist. In general, I do not want my art to be used as an input to train your models. I should be given that right because I am the creator of that art. Say for example, बाबा आपने एक गाना बनाया अपना, ठीक है? आपने अपना गाना बनाया, आपने YouTube पे डाला क्योंकि आपको पैसे कमाने उससे. There are a lot of struggling artists, right? जिनको पैसे चाहिए या जिनको जो भी नीड है ना? अब वो पैसे, उसने 2 पैसे बनाए. अब वही आर्ट फॉर्म यूज हो रहा है एक से प्लेटफॉर्म को ट्रेन करने के लिए. फिर कोई एक यूजर आता है, बोलता है मेरे को इस आर्टिस्ट जैसा एक गाना बना के दे. वो गाना बनाता है, वो अपने नाम से लॉन्च करता है उस गाने को, और वो गाना मान लो ऐसा मिलियंस ऑफ व्यूज में आके वो तो करोड़पति, मतलब करोड़ों रुपए आते हैं. नाउ इस पे एथिकली कॉपीराइट, मतलब कॉपीराइट तो एक एंगल है ही, एथिकली आल्सो इट इज नॉट राइट अकॉर्डिंग टू मी.
टू मी इट इज कंप्लीटली राइट.
मेरे ख्याल से ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट नहीं है.
तो फिर आप ये प्रीतम, अनु मलिक और इन सबको क्यों फिर गलत ठहराते हो? अगर ये लोग दे रिप्ड ऑफ,
देखो, when they have ripped off songs from English songs ना, I have loved all of their ripped off
अरे
songs.
लव नहीं, बट इज इट राइट और नॉट? अगर आप वो अंग्रेजी गाना ओरिजिनल सुनते या जो उसका क्रिएटर था उस गाने का, उससे आप पूछोगे कि भाई तुम्हारा गाना इंडिया में इतना चल रहा है, उससे और पैसे बने, उसको तो पैसा नहीं पहुंचा है ना.
नहीं पहुंचा, तो तुम
Is it right?
तो you are looking at just from a commercial angle ना.
ओनली कमर्शियल एंगल है ये, जो विच इज
आई एम सेइंग क्रेडिट भी नहीं मिला उसको, कमर्शियल भी हटा दो, चलो क्रेडिट भी नहीं मिला उसको.
क्रेडिट और
लोगों को लग रहा है,
सेम थिंग.
लोगों को लग रहा है अकेले हम अकेले तुम जो अनु मलिक ने प्रपोज किया था वो ओरिजिनल है, बट अल्टीमेटली वो किसी और का गाना
किसी और का था,
है, राइट?
हाँ.
तो माय पॉइंट इज कि अगर जो ओरिजिनल आर्टिस्ट है उसको ना क्रेडिट मिल रहा है ना पैसे मिल रहे हैं, कॉपीराइट की तो धज्जियां उड़ गई है, तो हाउ इज इट राइट?
It is right because this guy,
जस्ट फ्रॉम अ कंज्यूमर पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू आप बोलोगे कि मेरे को सुनने में अच्छा लगा तो इट इज राइट.
there are two things in there. Okay, now we have to make a distinction. जैसे अन्नू मलिक अगर गाना चुरा रहा है, right? He has copied verbatim. Each note he has copied. एकदम सेम है. तुम अगर ओरिजिनल गाना सुनोगे,
सो रिक्रिएशन है वो.
he is not recreated. अन्नू मलिक has mostly picked up.
उसमें वो अपना नेजल वॉइस भी तो डालता है.
ठीक है, मतलब what है, their lines are getting blurred. What would you call a recreation? What do you not call a recreation? But what I'm saying, there is a difference between recreation and plagiarism, right? There are two different words, right? If you are plagiarizing something, तुम वही उठा के डाल रहे हो. आज के तारीख में हजारों पीपीटी बन रहा है, हजारों एक्सेल शीट हम बना रहे हैं चैट जीपीटी से इनपुट लेके, राइट? नाउ एमबीए टाइम में भी आई रिमेंबर व्हेन वी वर पासिंग आउट, एक जो फाइनल सबमिशन था दे यूज्ड टू गो थ्रू सॉफ्टवेयर
Yeah.
जहाँ पे प्लेजरिज्म चेक होता था
Yeah.
Now to avoid and plagiarism check was 20% allowed or 10% कुछ allowed limit था right? Anu Malik was doing or is doing okay is like वो 90-95% टाप रहा है और वो प्लेजराइज कर रहा है
कैसे हिंदी वर्ड डाल रहा है वो अंग्रेजी के
नहीं I'm talking the tune so we are talking about the tune we are not talking about lyrics lyrics का बात ही नहीं कर
बट
रहे
दैट्स आल्सो पार्ट ऑफ द सॉन्ग.
म्यूजिक देखो ना Anu Malik is a composer he is not a lyrics writer
बट वो लिखता था.
नहीं वो सब गाने उसने नहीं लिखे
उसने कितना बढ़िया बढ़िया लिखा है.
लिखा है what I'm
उसने ऊंची है बिल्डिंग
ले तेरी बात है.
so what I'm saying we are talking about Anu Malik plagiarizing
ऐसे गाता है ना.
Anu Malik plagiarizing tunes. So I think a distinction has to be made between plagiarizing and inspired art. Okay.
ये मैं इस चीज पे बहुत टाइम से सोच रहा हूँ एंड इट माइट बी समवॉट रिलेटेड, माइट नॉट एग्जैक्टली विद द सेम थिंग, बट यूट्यूब पे जब भी आप गाना डालते हो जो ऑलरेडी यूज में है तो कॉपीराइट इशू आ जाता है, राइट? फ्लैग कर देता है वो, और आपके पास अब लेट्स से 10 मिनट का वीडियो है, मैंने 30 सेकंड्स का गाना यूज किया.
हाँ कुछ 10 सेकंड या 30 सेकंड का
नहीं, लेट्स से मैंने 1 मिनट का किया है पूरी 10 मिनट्स की वीडियो पे, तो ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए ना वॉट एवर मोनिटाइजेशन आई एम गेटिंग फॉर द 10 मिनट्स दैट आई एम नॉट गेटिंग इट, या फिर यू आर म्यूटिंग द होल सॉन्ग आउट, वॉट एवर monetization that I'm getting, the song is contributing to it. Yes, a share of it has to be given to the song. It cannot be 50-50. It has to be very different in a lot of ways. कहीं पे हो सकता है कि जो ओरिजिनल क्रिएटर है उसे 80% मिले और इसको 20% मिले, ऐसा भी हो सकता है ओरिजिनल क्रिएटर को 2% मिले. उसका ओवरऑल चीज पे इम्पैक्ट क्या है, राइट? तो अगर यहाँ पर हम देखें पूरा ट्यून ही जो है वो सॉन्ग को ड्राइव कर रहा है, so then, like, what is more iconic for that song? If we say lyrics are equally this thing, then we can probably say 50% of the whatever money is earned has to go to the original creator. But I think कुछ तो way होना चाहिए that is more sophisticated to know कि
वो है, but I think the
because you get inspired all the time from various
And I
things,
think
right? मतलब पहले तुम बताओ, for one of your paintings or one of your works, अगर ऐसा होता है,
how will you feel?
how will you feel?
Again, I will feel good, but because probably my art has somebody found inspiration from my art and probably recreated something out of it.
Then I want to
Let us-
ask your second question. She can answer after that.
Okay.
Today you are, we love your art, but you are as a budding artist at this point of time, right? So you want your art to spread as much as possible.
Budding जैसे आपने बोल दिया ना, आपने वहाँ पे कमर्शियल एंगल डाल दिया.
नहीं नहीं.
Again, but
Budding in what sense?
What I'm trying to say today, Pari might be okay for her art to be copied because that will make more people know कि it is Pari's art.
my awareness will
Awareness will
Probably
increase.
again I have
But once she, let's say, reaches an MF Hussain level, her arts are selling at 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 1 crore, then she might not want somebody to plagiarize her art.
No, again,
it's
like
related,
now again somebody takes inspiration from my art and they are like, digitally printing everywhere and making money on it. That probably I might do that, yeah.
Most of the debate that I have heard na, is basically कि मेरा आर्ट लेके मुझे ही पैसा नहीं मिल रहा.
क्रेडिट भी नहीं मिल रहा, उस पे भी झमेला.
लोगों को प्रॉब्लम पैसे और क्रेडिट से ही है. It's
But
not-
again,
Or
there
hated.
it comes the intent. Is the artist painting just to get money out of it, or the artist is
No.
just expressing?
No, it is not about. I think it is कि मैंने तो शायद पैसे के लिए नहीं बनाया, but his और हर हिडन वो कि पैसा तो मुझे चाहिए. लोग बच्चे पैदा करते हैं, राइट? कोई बच्चे पैदा ऐसे नहीं करता कि ये मेरा इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी है, बट द हिडन एक्सपेक्टेशन है कि जब मैं बुढ़ा हो जाऊं ये बच्चे मुझे देखेंगे. तो एक तो कॉस्ट बेनिफिट चलता रहता है लोगों के दिमाग में दोस्त.
I get you. Like आर्ट क्यों क्रिएट करता है कोई आर्टिस्ट? आर्टिस्ट कर रहा है क्योंकि टू एक्सप्रेस.
हाँ, बट उसको क्रेडिट नहीं दिए हुए यूज किया तो उसको बुरा लगने वाला है.
मतलब कि पैसा भी आ रहा है तो अच्छी
अच्छी बात है.
बट आई एम ऑल्सो लविंग द प्रोसेस ऑफ.
आई एम लविंग द प्रोसेस. हाँ.
On Raman's point, there's like an interesting point where Vincent Van Gogh, right? जब वो आर्ट क्रिएट कर रहा था, वो ना पैसे के लिए कर रहा था और ना एक्सप्रेशन के लिए कर रहा था. वो he was in pain all through. He led a very miserable life. Right?
Yeah.
उसके जितने भी आर्ट थे, that got famous posthumously after he passed away. So for him, if you look at it from like अभी तक हम जो definition बोल रहे थे कि expression है जो भी, that doesn't hold true for Vincent Van Gogh. So I think art for an artist could be very different. It could be just way of venting out what he's going through.
expression. No, that is
Yeah.
expression. That is expressing.
He is expressing his
Not with an intent कि ये famous होगा या जो भी होगा.
I don't.
हाँ.
मतलब काफी हो भी सकता है.
हाँ,
Nobody
काफी
to
हो सकता
judge.
है.
हो सकते हैं. ऐसे
Yeah.
I'm saying कि could be both. Like either
Could
one.
be both. अभी देखो जो हमारे एक टाइम पे जो एक पैरेलल सिनेमा चलता था, राइट, विद ओमपुरी, नसीरुद्दीन शाह एंड ऑल, यू टॉक एनी ऑफ द जो इंटरव्यू देखोगे, श्याम बेनेगल, सत्यजीत रे, और सत्यजीत रे का इंटरव्यू भी है, ही सेज कि आई मेक मूवीज व्हिच अपील टू माय कॉन्शियसनेस एंड माय क्रिएटिविटी, आई डोंट केयर वेदर इट इज मास
कमर्शियल सक्सेस
हो ना। तो वो क्लियर था कि आई वांट टू एक्सप्रेस, आई हैव अ स्टोरी इन माय माइंड, आई वांट टू
बोलते
एक्सप्रेस
कि
दिस वे।
उनकी जैसी किसी ने मूवी बना दी, उनसे इंस्पायर होकर उनके स्टाइल में मूवी बना दी, आई थिंक एज एन आर्टिस्ट
उसको अच्छा ही लगना चाहिए।
अच्छे लगेगा, या फिर वर्स्ट केस वुड बी इनडिफरेंस।
मे बी अगर मिडिल ग्राउंड हो कि ओरिजिनल आर्टिस्ट आर क्रेडिटेड,
या
then that could possibly be a middle ground of getting a कि ठीक है, ये भी नहीं, ये भी नहीं, बीच में कहीं पे।
pretty sure that technology can solve this.
So-
कि कितना क्रेडिट किसको मिलना चाहिए, और टेक्नोलॉजी
So,
सॉल्व कर
in a way, crypto was that, right? Or is that कि all transactions that have happened in that chain will be recorded, right?
तो क्रिप्टो का कॉन्सेप्ट इज समथिंग डिफरेंट, इट्स
So-
डिसेंट्रलाइज्ड।
हाँ, but वो record होगा, everything will be recorded in the crypto
That's
chain.
blockchain technology.
blockchain, ठीक है, crypto is based on blockchain, तो blockchain I'm talking about, right? It is about कि impression रखते रखते जाएगा, कोई भी तुम बोल नहीं सकते हो कि ओरिजिनल कौन है, फट से निकाल सकते हो ओरिजिनल कौन है। तो मे बी तो कुछ अगर बने कल के टाइम में कि कोई भी म्यूजिक हो, उसका ओरिजिनल क्रिएटर कौन है, कहीं पे कुछ आ जाएगा, तो आई थिंक दैट विल सॉल्व अ
आई थिंक
लॉट
ये
ऑफ
तो
द
काफी
प्रॉब्लम।
काफी क्रेजी थॉट है।
ये तो एक प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो जाएगा। तो
मूविंग ऑन,
I think Pari, you wanted to talk about the medium, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Right? So what are your views on how medium is affecting this whole debate? Can you just give some light?
Like even as an artist, you do a lot of journaling, right? To figure out your own style and what sort of you want to pursue your artist journey overall. And let's say with AI, you are able to visualize, or let's say when we talk about Madhubani painting or calligraphy painting, you want to do a blend of both the styles that you want to come up with. And if AI is able to help you, and if that is helping with your thought process, how you want to see as an artist, which direction you want to grow, I think I would say it's going to be very
It's a good
game-changing.
thing. Yeah.
In a way, it will help you, like, you know,
Visualize better.
visualize better. Point. Okay, now we are talking about art versus AI, which I just mentioned about, like, you know, AI can help me visualize more or achieve towards my visions and goal. Um, if modern technology, otherwise also in between human, all of us in the society, in business, like Sabya Sachi, what he's doing, he has got like a huge team of skilled laborers where he's taking the help of his team to, like, you know, sort of visualize what he
Yeah.
wanted to, and he made it, like, his creations are, like, you know, so amazing.
या
उसमें
आई गेट यू।
just to add a point, उसमें भी सब्यसाची का ही नाम हो रहा है,
Right.
टीम का
That is
नाम नहीं हो
also,
रहा
yeah,
है।
that is also.
तो in a way,
right.
even
Noted.
Miyazaki might be not फाइनली उसके नाम से ही जा रहा है ना। तुम्हारा वो जो आएगा क्रेडिट्स ऑफ द मूवी आल्सो, आई एम श्योर आर्ट बाय गिबली स्टूडियोज आएगा, 2-3 लोगों का नाम आ सकता है।
नहीं नहीं भाई, पूरे क्रेडिट
I am just saying.
पिक्चर दिखा नहीं है, ऐसे ही बोल। अभी अभी क्या होता है, स्टूडियो जिबली जो मूवीज बनाती है, जो भी कुछ भी जो बनाते हैं वो, उसमें वो टेम्पररी पीपल हायर करते हैं। सो फॉर एग्जांपल 70-80 पीपल दे हायर टू क्रिएट द मूवी और टू क्रिएट व्हाटएवर दे वांट टू क्रिएट, एंड आफ्टर दैट दे आर आस्क्ड टू, लाइक, वो उनको रिलीज कर देता है एवरी टाइम, एंड दिस इज नाउ अ साइकिल। ऑल्दो इंडस्ट्री में ये होता है, पहले स्टूडियो जिबली में ये कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं था। ही यूज्ड टू कीप पीपल ऑन पेरोल एंड, लाइक, यू नो, उनको साथ में काम करता था। बट अभी बिकॉज ऑफ सो मेनी अदर रीजंस, क्योंकि वो खुद टाइम नहीं दे पा रहा, तो अभी ये कॉन्सेप्ट है। कमिंग बैक टू योर क्वेश्चन जो आप बोल
मैं
रहे हो
समझ
कि
इसमें और एक बोलूंगा मैं, इसका इनसिक्योर नेचर और आ रहा है इसमें कि वो पहले क्या करता था, उसको जब पता है कि ये लोग 10-20 साल काम कर लिए, मेरा स्टाइल अडॉप्ट कर लेंगे, तो ये तो पूरा ताजमहल वाला कहानी है।
अरे उसको कोई सक्सेसर नहीं मिल रहा है। आप एक काम करो ना, आप क्यों नहीं सक्सेसर बन जाते हो स्टूडियो जिबली के?
ताजमहल बना है, सबका हाथ काट दो। ये तो जिबली, ये तो मियाज़ाकी वही कर रहा है कि मैं एक ही मूवी के लिए 6 महीने में रखूंगा इंटर्नशिप पे, मेरा स्टाइल ज्यादा समझ गया तो मुझसे आगे बढ़ जाएगा। ये तो इनसिक्योर आदमी है, वो कुछ नहीं है वो मियाज़ाकी। प्रूव कर दिया ना इसी ने।
You know, there's an entire Senate hearing in US where they've questioned Sam Altman, Mark Zuckerberg, and all these people who are behind the tech companies, who are working on these these LLM platforms. उसमें सबका question is circling around the same point, that the input that you're using to train your models.
Is it ethically correct or not?
Yes.
Or how you're sourcing it?
Yes.
वो तो आई थिंक देखो, एक तो है कि ये कहीं पे कैसे बोलूं मैं, जैसे तुमने
अब तो हो चुका है,
नहीं हो तो रहा है, हो चुका
अब
क्या
तो
हो
हो
तो
चुका
रहा है।
है, नहीं इट इज हैपेंड, इट इज अ इवेंट ऑफ द पास्ट।
और ये कहानी है किसी
ये मॉडल्स है जो ट्रेन है, जो इस डेटा पे ट्रेंड है,
और
जहाँ से भी
रहेगा,
आया है।
हो रहा है
और ये मॉडल्स का, वी ऑल नो राइट, ये मॉडल्स का एफिकेसी डिपेंड्स ऑन देयर ट्रेनिंग मटेरियल। कितना अच्छा ट्रेनिंग मटेरियल है, कितना वॉल्यूमिनस ट्रेनिंग मटेरियल है, राइट? सो दिस होल टेक्नोलॉजी ऑफ एआई डिपेंड्स ऑन ह्यूज अमाउंट ऑफ ट्रेनिंग मटेरियल। तुम अगर एआई का वाहवाही कर रहे हो दुनिया में, एआई बहुत हेल्प कर रहा है, ब्ला ब्ला, वो हेल्प कर पा रहा है क्योंकि उसको ट्रेन किया गया इन दिस मेथड से। तुम अभी वही जाके बोल रहे हो कि नहीं नहीं भाई, ये मेथड तो, तब तो एआई ही नहीं है। इज अ क्वेश्चन ऑफ तुम बेसिक फाउंडेशन ऑफ एआई पे ही तुम मार रहे हो। हाँ, ethical question is still there, I agree. But then the whole business model or the technical model of AI is I need to train my LLMs on huge amounts of data, structured, unstructured, blah blah data from different sources. तो वो तो इनका कहानी ही वैसा है ना।
Yeah. So again, my view on first of all, art versus AI. Whatever we tried to discuss today about the Ghibli effect. Um, as a consumer, right? There were smiles brought. Uh, Somebody could live their childhood memory also. Again, from the art perspective, what Miyazaki probably felt bad or like, the process where he spent quite a larger amount of time giving a lot of thoughts and creating something that just got created in a minute probably just felt bad. It's like it, just from emotional point of view. From the ethical and credits point of view, it is purely again what your art, what have you thought about after the creation, whether you want to be accessible by people or you want to make it into a commodity or like or sort of bring in a commercial angle to it. In art as an expression, I would always say that that would still remain as a human experience, and not just like anybody, like all of us, even like even special students, people, children, take art as a like medium of expression. So yeah, all these things will still probably remain, and that's where art will find its uh, creation.
Yeah, beautiful. I think I just want to just add one more point to what you have just said is commercialization of art might change going forward, but art at the core would remain what it has remained for as long as we know humanity.
Yeah.
There has been expression of there has been art throughout our history, and art is always going to survive. How we make money on it, how we use it for commercial purposes might change. And occupations change, businesses change. There were things that were relevant years back. There were people sitting at every 4 lanes taking care of the horses when horses were the prevalent mode of transportation. That occupation has gone away. I'm sure 1800s में वो लोग चिल्ला रहे थे क्यों आ रही है गाड़ी, बट कुछ चीज़ें हैं जो इनएविटेबल है, जो लोगों की लाइफ सिंपलर बनाएगी, मोर कन्वीनियंस लाएगी वहाँ पे, ऑब्वियसली द सोसाइटी विल बी ड्रिवन टुवर्ड्स इट. सो इनएविटेबल है, कमर्शलाइजेशन चेंज होगा. अगर आपको उतनी मेहनत करके वही चीज़ बनानी है क्योंकि आपको वो शांति देता है या फिर आपको वो सुकून देता है, तो वो हमेशा ही देगा.
Yeah, lovely thoughts. So yeah, I would, from my perspective, I think I divide into three aspects. Okay, my final thoughts. One is that I think it's a debate between inspiration and infringement, right? That's what we're trying to debate overall. The second part, I think, is about the creator and the consumer. Okay, आज के तारीख में this is a debate that is happening, and this is a debate we are also doing right now. Okay, but if you take a poll today from a let's say democracy point of view, कि जो 2 करोड़ लोगों ने 10 करोड़ लोगों ने फोटो बनाया है, देयर विल बी 10,000 पीपल विल से कि गलत है, बाकी 99% विल से कि मजा आया, बढ़िया है.
तो सही होगा, मेजॉरिटी बोल रहा है
तो वो नहीं बोलूंगा कि मेजॉरिटी बोल रहा है कि सही है, वो ऐसा नहीं होता है हमेशा. इंडिया में भी बहुत मेजॉरिटी ने काफी गलत वोट दिया है, तो आई डोंट एग्री कि मेजॉरिटी सही है, बट व्हाट आई एम सेइंग इज दैट कि
क्या कहना चाहते हो आप?
टू साइड्स ऑफ दिस कॉइन, वन इज द क्रिएटर, वन इज द कंज्यूमर. दोनों का अलग व्यू होगा ही, यू कैन नॉट पुट इट इन ए वन नटशेल. सो आई थिंक यही दो कहानी है कि
अभी 3 बोला था, अभी 2 पे खत्म हो गया.
सॉरी अरे मैं खुद ही भूल गया, ये भूल जाता हूँ मैं, तो ओशो टाइप का हूँ ना, कॉन्ट्रडिक्ट करता हूँ,
उसको भूल जाता है.
ओशो कॉन्ट्रडिक्ट करता है. हाँ, थर्ड इज दैट this whole debate to an extent has been fueled by the fact that our Miyazaki condemned something 7 or 8 years ago.
ख्याल से सैम ऑल्टमैन ने वो वीडियो सुना होगा और उसने बोला अब मैं बताता हूँ,
हो सकता है. तो
मैं दिखाऊंगा
तो
इसको.
मुझे थर्ड पार्ट में क्या लगता है ना कि उसने 6-7 साल पहले जो उसको दिखाया गया था ना बहुत ही भद्दा हुआ, ठीक है, तो उसको देख के चिढ़ आ गया कि तुमने क्या गांडू चीज बनाया है।
अगर अभी देखेंगे तो मजा आएगा।
अभी अगर उसको दिखाया जाता he would have possibly actually appreciated।
तो मियाज़ाकी अगर आप हमें सुन रहे हैं तो प्लीज कमेंट में बताएं कि आपको कैसा लगा।
सबटाइटल्स ऑन कर लेना।
हाँ
subtitle and Miyazaki if you can send a video to us that will make
नहीं वीडियो तो है ना
नहीं
यूट्यूब।
नहीं हमको स्पेशली वीडियो बना के भेजेगा कि we like it जैसे भी बोले इंग्लिश जापानीज में इंग्लिश जैसे भी बोले कि I like what is happening ऐसे टाइप के कुछ।
Do we take a poll on like, are you going to be like in support of AI or?
हाँ we can take a poll, final poll।
क्या हम चारों में पोल
As a
हाँ
principal,
चारों में
as
poll
an
ठीक
And then audience can also let us know
हाँ
their
ये
views।
सही है ना गलत?
मेरा तो आंसर ऑब्वियसली
गलत है।
हाँ गलत है।
ये गलत है।
तुम टेक के अगेंस्ट हो।
हाँ
नहीं
मैं तो बोला कि
humanity के support में
इनएविटेबल है, तो मैं तो सपोर्ट में हूँ, मुझे तो
पर ये
Yeah, utilization. So yeah.
yeah।
I am also in support। तो 3:1 the motion gets passed in this house and the motion has got passed in the
But you also let us know।
Yeah, let us.
yeah please let us know what you feel। I'm sure a lot of you would have used the same platform to make your own Ghibli or Ghibli images। Let us know what you feel, whether you enjoy it, whether you think it's plagiarism, whether you think it's infringement or inspiration। Let us know in the
And thank you so much, Pari, for joining us
Thank you,
today.
Pari, for joining
We're so happy we had our first guest.
Yeah, had an amazing time with you all.
Thank you so
you.
much।
Lovely.
Thank you, bye, take care, see you soon again।
See
See you, bye.
Bye।